My assessment of the situation, I think, is they'll probably drop me as a sacrificial lamb instead of genuinely trying to push back against this. They're going to throw you under the bus, big bro, for sure. We shall see. Maybe they'll ask Gaben when Half-Life 3 will come out. Sure. As a matter of fact, the reason why there's a lot of radlibs who fucking hate me is because of my consistent advocacy for reform, rehabilitation, and my lack of interest in hyper-focusing on culture war issues that pertain to cancellations and things of the like. There's a reason why there's so many like people who present themselves as leftists who will be like, I fucking hate Hasan. He's right-wing. He's actually secretly right-wing. The reason why they say that is because whenever people come to me with demands of deplatforming people, I always say, I'm not interested in that. That's a big part of it. No, that's not the reason. Okay. Well, there's also a bunch of different things that I advocate for that they disagree with, whether it be like, I don't know, American imperialism, whether it be Israel, you know, whether it be getting people to reconsider the way that they've learned about American history, for example. There's a million different reasons why someone could be upset about my commentary. They posted on IG that you wish this would happen to Hilo, like how deranged they have to be. Yeah, that was so ridiculous that no one actually picked that up because it's a completely hysterical perspective. Yeah, these guys don't realize you talked to Asman the literal day after he made those genocide comments. You weren't trying to get him banned. The exact opposite occurred. Exactly. And many people yelled at me over it. They said I was actually whitewashing and laundering his reputation. If you recall, there was never a moment where I actually advocated for deplatforming. No. But you didn't do anything wrong. Why are they going after you? It doesn't matter. I need you to understand. It's not about doing something wrong. It's not about doing something wrong. It has nothing to do with that. It's because of my perspective. It's because of what I advocate for. And this is, unfortunately, something that I have considered from day one. It was an inevitability that once it got to a point where my audience grew to a certain level, my platform grew to a certain level, that inevitably people in positions of power would find that to be dangerous and would want to do everything in their power to take me out. We're there now. I will be honest, I'm shocked that it didn't happen sooner. Utah cops are giving a presser on the alleged Charlie Kirk shooter, so let's take a look at what they have to say. We're going to Washington County, Utah.
Out there. So I get a call from my friend, and his said, "Hey, how you doing?" Good. And it's not, he's been retired a few years. We'll call each other. It's not unusual for me to get a call from him or vice versa. And then I couldn't fathom what actually came out of his mouth. So he said, "Hey, I know who Charlie Kirk shooter is. I know the family through religious association. He's in Washington County now, and we're working on trying to get him to come in voluntarily." So at that point, that phone call was 1 minute and 41 seconds. I immediately called Sheriff Mike Smith in Utah County. So for about 40 seconds, I'm telling Sheriff Smith, "Hey, I'm confident we have the shooter in Washington County. We're working on getting him to come in and surrender at my office." We didn't have him yet, and after about 40 seconds, Sheriff Smith's like, what are you talking about?" So he was shocked, as I was, to hear the news. And so I repeated myself. He said, "How credible is it?" I said, "I trust this guy that called me with my life, and I think it's time you need to get your people, the lead investigators, headed to Washington County." Within the hour, my friend drove Tyler and his parents to my office, where he was greeted by plainclothes detectives. So that was part of the deal. Is Tyler knew it was just inevitable with all the law enforcement pressure that his picture in the news, the gun on the news. He knew it was inevitable that he would be caught. He was fearful of a SWAT team hit on his house, or he was fearful of being shot by law enforcement. So part of the negotiation and getting him to bring himself in was that we would treat it as delicate and as soft as possible to make him feel comfortable to where he would show up at my office, and that's exactly what happened. It's a double shock factor that one in Utah, and then the suspect happened to be homegrown Washington County boy. So it was just
the one of us narrative. They just keep saying that.
No, Nope. Nope. Made sure he had water, made him comfortable sitting on a couch in an interview room, and just sat on him until the lead investigators came in.
So his parents didn't say anything.
Concessions were made to make that happen. So if, again, peaceful surrender, make him comfortable. You know, he's accused of a horrific crime. So it's kind of odd to be in that, you know, again, accused of a horrific crime, but then we are treating him very civilly, very humanely, and that's just part of the job. We do that on a regular basis, try to make people comfortable so they're relaxed and not bombard them with negativity or you know, a hammer fist or stormtrooper type approach. We wouldn't do that.
What do you think the rhetoric would have been if the killer was actually left-wing or, God forbid, not white? I mean, you know what it would have been.
Shot by the police. Period. That's it.
I'm gonna be honest. It probably would just be more of the rhetoric you have already heard from the right wingers, because they didn't know anything about the shooter and they immediately ran to blame the left, and they're currently taking steps to actively undermine left organizing in this country. All right, but going back to the suppression, I think I extensively covered it at this point. The Oversight Committee says breaking news: CEO of Discord, Steam, Twitch, and Reddit have been called to testify in front of Congress. They don't actually have to show up. They haven't in the past. My assessment of the situation, I think, is they'll probably drop me as a sacrificial lamb. Instead of genuinely trying to push back against this. They're going to throw you under the bus, big bro, for sure. We shall see. Maybe they'll ask Gaben when Half-Life 3 will come out. Sure.